Dawn scrapes a thin light across the city, as if the sun is rubbing sleep from its eyes. The wind comes in knives, clean, bright, unforgiving. At the base of a granite courthouse, a shape no bigger than a bundle of laundry curls against the stone lion's paw, wrapped in yesterday's newspaper. The headline flaps like a wounded bird. Market surge. Beneath it, a pair of brown fingers grip the paper's edge as if it were skin. Benedict Crane, whose name rides elevator walls and annual reports like a crest, steps from a chauffeured car into the cold. His breath ghosts. His overcoat is black, his scarf a thread of winter sky. He is 30 minutes early for a breakfast that will decide 3,000 jobs and one man's personal legend. He turns to the courthouse steps and stops. The bundle moves. A small face surfaces from ink and frost. A black boy, maybe 8, maybe 10, hunger scrubs the numbers off children. Stares up with eyes that should be playing tag in a warm schoolyard. His lips are purpled. His breath barely lifts the paper. The boy is wrapped not in a blanket but in news. Mergers, record highs, a photograph of Benedict shaking a senator's hand. Headlines meant to warm investors now failing a child. The wind flips a page. The boy's shoulders flinch. He tucks himself tighter, as if he knows how to become smaller than cold. Benedict's heartbeat trips. He looks right, left, at the marble, at the flagstones, at a world that has always answered to him. He should call someone. He should call everyone. This is not his skill set. He moves toward the boy anyway, the way a man walks toward a ledge without meaning to jump. "Hey," he says, voice roughened by 1,000 rooms that never required gentleness. "Can you hear me?" Two eyes blink. The boy's answer is a whisper trapped inside his chest. Benedict kneels, an expensive man letting his knee touch street salt. He peels back a corner of the newspaper. The ink has bled into the child's skin, print ghosting on his cheek like bruises made of words. "What's your name?" Benedict asks. The boy considers the question as if names have teeth. He licks his lips. "Micah." The consonants scratch like a match in his throat. "Micah," Benedict repeats, as if saying it might warm it. His hands built to sign checks and split empires, hesitate, then slip his scarf free. He wraps it around the boy's neck, tucking the wool beneath the paper. The scarf smells faintly of cedar and something he doesn't let himself call grief. "This is yours now." Micah stares at the scarf as if it were fire. The color returns to his voice by a shade. "You gonna take it back?" "No," Benedict says, surprising himself with how quickly the word arrives. He shrugs from his overcoat. The cold bites immediately. His body shivers like memory. He drapes the coat around Micah's shoulders. The boy disappears inside it, a moth in a dark wing. From the courthouse doors, a security guard calls out, tone already apologizing for what he will have to enforce. "Sir, if there's a situation we can." Benedict raises a hand without taking his eyes off the child. The guard's words freeze and fall to the steps. A car horn barks at the curb. Time claws at Benedict's sleeve. The breakfast meeting waits with silverware and signatures. His assistant's voice rings in his head. "Don't be late. The partners are skittish. This is the moment, Benedict. The city is a machine, and machines do not like sand in their gears." "Are you hurt?" he asks. Micah shakes his head, a lie too tired to stand. He hugs the coat closer. "Just cold." His teeth tap a rhythm against the word. "Where's your mother?" Benedict asks, the question too big for a sidewalk. The boy's eyes drift to the courthouse doors, then somewhere beyond them, where morning is a rumor. "Gone." The single syllable lands like a dropped plate. Nothing shatters you can see, but the room is different. Benedict feels the familiar architecture of his thinking tilt. Risk assessments, public image, liability, logistics. Then, beneath it, something older shifts. An ache that wakes when winter comes. When a small blue scarf hangs on a bedroom hook that hasn't known a child's hands in 3 years. He stands. He offers a hand. "Come with me," he says, stunned by his own voice. "We'll get warm. We'll get food." Micah eyes the hand. He looks past Benedict to the car idling like a patient animal. He looks down at the newspaper, at a photograph of Benedict himself, smiling a celebration that never reached this pavement. Rich people don't pick up kids on the street, Micah says, not unkind. It is just a law he has learned. Maybe they should, Benedict replies. A gust knifes through the coats of passers-by. Somewhere above, a gull screams like a hinge. Micah's fingers twitch toward Benedict's hand and stop. Fear is not just a thing he feels. It is a country he lives in. The security guard shifts his weight. The car clock clicks forward. The breakfast plates wait to be placed. A decision gathers like weather. Benedict lowers his hand. He studies the boy, the ink on his cheek, the scarf too large on a neck too thin, the chosen bed of headlines and stone. He hears his late wife's laugh buried under ice. He hears his board's voices calculating the cost of tenderness. He hears the wind say nothing at all. Then he does the thing that will break someone's heart, possibly his own. He crouches close, pulls his wallet from his breast pocket, then stops, as if the leather itself were an obscenity in this light. Instead, he reaches into the inner lining of his coat and removes something he has not touched since the funeral. A child's mitten, sky blue, the partner to a lost twin. He places it in Micah's palm, closing the boy's fingers around it with both of his own. This kept someone I loved warm, Benedict says, voice wrecked and true. I didn't save him, but maybe it can save you. Micah's lashes spike with thawing tears. He stares at the mitten as if it were a map out of winter. Benedict rises, the cold punishing his now bare wrists. He looks at the courthouse doors, at the car, at his life arranged like chess pieces, and steps back. I'll be right inside, he says to the guard without turning. If he moves, if he needs anything, you come and get me. Now. He takes 2 steps toward the meeting that was supposed to define his career. At the 3rd step, the wind catches the newspaper and flips it to a page of obituaries. Micah shivers. The scarf slips. Benedict stops mid-stride, every muscle in his body arguing with his heart. The door's brass handle gleams like a verdict. He closes his eyes. He opens them again. He turns. Micah, he says, the boy's name a vow. The child looks up from the mitten. Come with me, Benedict repeats, holding out his bare hand into the cold. Please. For a breath that holds the whole city, nothing moves. Then a small, ink-smudged hand lifts from the news and finds his, fragile, burning, alive. The chauffeur blinks in surprise as Benedict opens the car door himself, ushering the boy inside. Micah hesitates on the curb, shoes soaked through, wary eyes darting from the gleaming leather interior to the towering man beside him. It's warm in there, Benedict says gently. And dry. Micah clutches the mitten tighter, weighing his choice. Then, as though gravity itself nudges him, he slides into the seat. The door shuts, sealing them inside a cocoon of heat and silence. The engine hums. The city begins to roll by, gray and blurred by frost. Micah curls into the far corner, the oversized coat swallowing him whole. He peeks out once, as if expecting the kindness to dissolve. Benedict studies the boy in the reflection of the tinted glass. He has signed contracts worth billions without hesitation. Yet here he cannot find words. Finally he speaks, careful and unadorned. Have you eaten? Micah shakes his head. His voice is nearly invisible. Not since yesterday. Benedict presses the intercom. Home, he tells the driver. Then, after a pause, and stop at a diner first. The boy stares at him, suspicious. Why? Because people think better on a full stomach, Benedict replies. He offers a small smile. And because cocoa tastes different in the morning. The diner booth is cracked vinyl, the air thick with bacon grease and coffee steam. Benedict orders too much, pancakes, eggs, sausage, hot chocolate crowned with whipped cream. Micah eats like someone who has forgotten there will be another meal. Halfway through, he slows, glances around nervously. You don't have to finish it all, Benedict assures him. Take your time. Micah wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. Food this good. People don't just give it. Benedict's chest aches. Then maybe people have been wrong. The boy tilts his head, measuring the truth in the man's eyes. Something inside him loosens a fraction. When the plates are cleared, they return to the car. The drive to the penthouse is silent, but it is a different kind of silence. Not suspicion, not fear, something tentative, like the pause between notes in a song. The elevator whooshes open into Benedict's private floor. Marble, glass, steel, every detail sharp, precise. Micah steps out slowly, his small frame dwarfed by ceilings that seem to touch the clouds. "It's empty," he whispers. Benedict hears the echo of truth. A space designed for triumph, never for laughter. "It's quiet," he corrects softly. "Too quiet." Micah runs a finger along a glass table. "Looks like no one lives here." Benedict swallows. "Sometimes it feels that way." He takes the boy down the hall, opens a door to a guest room where sheets are crisp and untouched. "This can be yours tonight," he offers. Micah stares at the bed, then at him. "What do you want from me?" The question lands heavy, jagged. Benedict lowers himself to the boy's level. His voice trembles with honesty. "Nothing. Just let me make sure you're safe. That's all." Micah searches his face, looking for the hidden trap every street has taught him to expect. Finding none, he nods, emotion so small it could be missed. He sets the mitten on the pillow like an anchor. That night, as the city hums below, Benedict stands in the doorway, watching the boys breathing steady into sleep. For the first time in years, he feels the hollow walls of his home shift. Less mausoleum, more heartbeat. But beneath the warmth, doubt whispers. Tomorrow questions will come. Papers, officials, judgment. He knows this. Still, as he listens to Micah murmur a faint tune in his sleep, Benedict whispers to the quiet, "Just one night. One night to be more than what I was." The wind presses against the glass, soft, like applause. The morning begins not with silence, but with sound. Benedict wakes to the faint thread of humming drifting down the hall, a tune unsure of its own melody. He follows it barefoot, robe loose around his shoulders, until he reaches the guest room. Micah is perched on the windowsill, wrapped in the oversized coat like a shell. He gazes out at the city, his breath fogging the glass. The mitten rests in his lap, and the humming carries the fragile weight of memory. "You're up early," Benedict says softly. Micah shrugs without turning. "Street don't let you sleep late. Gotta move before they move you." Benedict leans on the doorframe. "Here, no one will move you." The boy looks at him, searching for lies. Finding none, he returns his gaze to the skyline. "It's too high up. Feels like the sky might swallow me." Benedict glances at the horizon, the rising sun igniting glass towers. "I used to think being above it all meant safety," he admits. "Now it feels lonely." Micah's eyes flicker with curiosity. "Then why stay here?" Benedict exhales, the answer caught somewhere between habit and grief. "Because I didn't know where else to go." In the kitchen, Benedict fumbles with breakfast. The chef is absent, the appliances foreign. He cracks eggs badly, burns toast. Micah watches, amused. "You're really bad at this," the boy teases. Benedict smirks, surrendering the spatula. "Then maybe you should teach me." Micah laughs. A sound so unguarded it startles them both. He shows Benedict how to make cereal, how to spread butter without tearing bread. Small lessons, but each one punctures the armor of wealth and replaces it with something humbler, warmer. They eat together at the vast table, their voices filling space that once only knew the scrape of cutlery during solitary meals. For Benedict, burnt toast tastes like grace. For Micah, being asked, "Would you like more?" tastes like belonging. Later, Benedict shows him the music room. Instruments line the walls, untouched relics of his late wife's passion. A grand piano rests in the corner, keys gleaming like unspoken words. Micah approaches reverently, pressing one key. A note blooms, fragile and pure. He presses another, then another, creating a stumbling rhythm. His face lights, a boy's joy unmasked. "You play?" Benedict asks quietly. "Don't know how," Micah admits, but sound makes the cold smaller. Benedict sits beside him, hesitant. My wife played. I never learned. Micah nudges him with a grin. Then just follow. Together they fumble through a makeshift song. Notes uneven, timing clumsy, yet the air vibrates with life. The penthouse, once mausoleum quiet, shivers awake. When the final chord fades, Micah looks up. See? Doesn't matter if it's wrong. Music's just glad you showed up. Benedict swallows hard, eyes burning. He realizes in that moment that this boy, wrapped in yesterday's newspaper only hours ago, has given him something none of his wealth could, a reason to be present. Micah places the mitten gently atop the piano. This place don't feel so empty now, he says. Benedict covers the boy's hand with his own. Neither do I. The city hums beyond the glass, but inside, for the first time in years, Benedict feels the warmth of a home, not from fireplaces or chandeliers, but from the fragile trust of a child who sings storms into lullabies. The days that follow settle into a rhythm neither expected. Micah explores cautiously, wandering from room to room like an archaeologist in a silent museum. He opens cabinets, presses buttons, stares in awe at a shower that runs endlessly hot. Each discovery is tentative, as though at any moment it might vanish. Benedict watches, torn between quiet amusement and a strange swelling in his chest. He begins leaving small things for the boy: cereal on the counter, a book on the nightstand, a blanket folded at the foot of the couch. Little gestures, wordless assurances. You belong here. One evening, Benedict returns late from the office, weary from a day of partners muttering about his distraction. He expects the same cavernous silence that has greeted him for years. Instead, he hears humming, a steady, familiar thread, coming from the music room. He finds Micah at the piano again, fingers tapping tentative notes. The mitten rests on the lid like a guardian. Micah hums with each chord, his small body swaying, lost in sound. You've made a habit of this? Benedict says, voice softened. Micah startles, then grins sheepishly. The room feels less empty when it's noisy. Benedict steps inside, sits beside him without invitation. Then let's make it noisier. This time he tries more than one note, fumbling through a clumsy harmony. Micah laughs, correcting him, guiding his hands. The two of them craft a song, imperfect, crooked, yet undeniably alive. For a few minutes, the walls that once echoed loneliness now tremble with something close to joy. When the last note fades, Benedict leans back. You're teaching me more than I'm teaching you. Micah shrugs, pretending not to glow. Guess rich folks need lessons too. They share a laugh. The sound is startling in its ease. Later that night, as Micah drifts to sleep, Benedict lingers by the door. The boy murmurs and dreams, humming the storm song again, a lullaby worn into his bones. And then something strange. The chandelier above the hall flickers once, twice, then steadies. A soft breeze threads through the closed window, carrying the faint scent of rain though the skies outside are clear. Benedict freezes. Coincidence, surely. Yet the air feels charged, alive, as if the boy's song has pulled something unseen into the room. The next morning, Benedict asks carefully over breakfast, that song you hum, where did it come from? Micah stirs his cocoa. Mama, she said storms carry prayers higher. When she couldn't pray, she sang instead. Benedict studies him, heart tight. Do you believe that? Micah nods without hesitation. Yeah, sometimes the world sings back. The words land with unexpected weight. Benedict doesn't argue. He only listens as the boy hums again, a tune so small yet vast enough to reach places in him he thought were gone forever. For the first time in decades, Benedict Crane, a man of markets and mergers, wonders if there might be something greater guiding his steps, something he cannot measure, cannot control, and it unnerves him as much as it comforts. Winter thickens its grip on the city. Outside the glass walls of the penthouse, snow drifts like ash, muffling sirens and softening even the harshest corners. Inside, warmth flickers, A strange new warmth not from thermostats or fireplaces, but from presence. Micah has grown bolder. He raids the refrigerator with comic seriousness, declaring, "This is the good kind of milk." When he finds glass bottles lined in neat rows, he sprawls on the couch, drawing crooked notes on paper scraps. He hums constantly, as if silence itself makes him uneasy, and each sound threads itself into Benedict's days like stitches closing a wound. But fragile peace is always at risk. One evening, Benedict and Micah return from a grocery errand, Benedict carrying bags for the first time in decades, Micah proudly guarding a box of cereal, when a voice halts them in the lobby. "Micah!" The boy freezes. The cereal slips, scattering across the marble floor. Slowly, he turns. A woman stands there, bundled in a coat too thin for the season. Her skin is sallow, her hair pulled back harshly, her eyes shadowed by exhaustion yet sharp with recognition. She clutches the counter for balance, a tremor in her frame. "Mama?" Micah breathes, the word breaking into a sob. He runs, colliding into her arms. Benedict stares, stunned. He hadn't known there was still a mother. His heart twists as the boy clings desperately to her, as if afraid she might vanish again. The woman coughs violently into her sleeve. She holds Micah tighter. I thought I lost you." Her voice is raw, threaded with illness. She looks at Benedict, wary and defensive. "Who are you? Why is he with you?" Benedict steadies himself. "My name is Benedict Crane. I found him. He was alone. I only wanted to help." She studies him, reading more than words. Another cough racks her body. Micah grips her hand, eyes wide with fear. "Mama, you're sick again." Her knees nearly buckle. Benedict steps forward, catching her arm before she falls. Her skin burns with fever, damp with sweat despite the cold. "You need a hospital," he says firmly. She shakes her head weakly. "I need my boy." "You'll lose him if you don't get care," Benedict counters. Micah clings tighter, torn between terror and hope. "Don't leave me again," he whispers. The woman, Lila, presses her forehead to his. "Never, baby. Never by choice." She looks back at Benedict, eyes blazing despite weakness. "Promise me he won't be alone. Promise me, no matter what happens." Benedict's throat tightens. "I promise." The words are heavier than any contract he has ever signed. That night, in the sterile glow of a hospital room, Micah sits by his mother's bedside, humming her lullaby as she sleeps fitfully. Benedict stands at the window, staring at the snow falling like ash against the glass. His reflection overlaps theirs, two worlds colliding in a place that smells of antiseptic and fate. And for the first time, Benedict understands, what he found on that cold courthouse step was not an accident. It was a call, and it has only just begun. The hospital corridors hum with fluorescent light, sterile and indifferent. Machines beep in Lila's room, their rhythm shaky, uncertain. She drifts in and out of fevered sleep, her breath shallow as though each inhale might be her last. Micah never lets go of her hand. He hums softly, the lullaby that has followed him through every storm. His small voice trembles, but he sings anyway, as if sound alone could anchor her to the earth. Benedict stands near the door, watching boy and mother fuse together by fear and love. He feels both intruder and guardian, his heart pulled in opposite directions. A doctor steps in, clipboard heavy with words. "Her pneumonia is advanced. We've started aggressive treatment, but it's complicated by chronic neglect. She'll need long-term care, and her chances—" He stops, glancing at Micah, lowering his voice, "are uncertain." Benedict's jaw tightens. "Do whatever it takes. Spare no cost." The doctor nods, but his eyes reveal truth. Wealth can buy medicine, not miracles. Hours later, a social worker arrives. She carries the clipped politeness of someone accustomed to breaking families apart for their own survival. "Mr. Crane will need to discuss custody arrangements. If the mother passes, the child cannot remain without legal process." Micah stiffens, fear flashing across his face. He grips his mother tighter, as though arms alone could keep the world from stealing him away. "I'll take responsibility," Benedict says quickly. His voice, usually precise, cracks with urgency. "I'll petition for guardianship, adoption, whatever is required. He belongs with me." The worker lifts an eyebrow. "With all respect, sudden charity by men of your stature often raises suspicion. Courts will want to know, why?" Benedict's reply is raw, uncalculated. "Because when I found him, I found myself again. And I can't lose that boy without losing what's left of me." The worker studies him for a long moment, then nods curtly. "The judge will decide. Be prepared for scrutiny." That night, Benedict returns to the penthouse with Micah for rest. The boy sits curled on the couch, eyes red from holding back tears. Benedict lowers himself beside him. "They're gonna take me, aren't they?" Micah whispers. Benedict shakes his head fiercely. "Not if I can help it." Micah's lip trembles. "Everyone says that. Then they leave." Benedict reaches for his hand, gripping it tightly. "I've signed 1,000 promises in ink. Tonight I give you one in truth. I'm not leaving." The boy stares at him, distrust and hope wrestling in his gaze. Slowly, he leans into Benedict's side, letting his head rest against the man's shoulder. The billionaire closes his eyes, feeling the fragile weight of trust he has been given. In the quiet, Micah begins to hum again, barely audible. This time, Benedict hums along, off-key but present. Their voices merge, uneven yet bound together. As the melody threads through the penthouse, the chandelier above flickers once more, steadying into a soft glow. A draft stirs though no window is open, carrying the faint scent of rain. Benedict freezes, chills prickling his skin. Coincidence or something larger? He does not know. But as Micah's small voice trembles against his side, he believes for the first time that faith might be more powerful than fortune. He presses a kiss to the boy's curls. "We'll fight," he whispers, "and we'll win." Micah's answer is muffled but sure. "Then maybe miracles are real." Standing in court, stripped of his armor of numbers and profit. Cameras click. Headlines speculate. Billionaire seeks custody of homeless boy? Publicity stunt or redemption? Micah sits in the gallery, dwarfed by wooden benches, his small legs swinging nervously. He clutches the blue mitten in both hands, his eyes fixed on Benedict as if tethering him to courage. The state's attorney speaks crisply. "Your Honor, while Mr. Crane has resources, wealth does not equal stability. This child needs a safe, consistent environment, not the whims of a grieving man who stumbled across him on the street." Benedict rises. His voice trembles, not with fear but with truth breaking free. "With respect, I didn't stumble across him. I found him. On a morning when the world was cold enough to kill a boy, I found him wrapped in newspaper. My name on the headlines, his life nearly erased beneath them. That was no accident. That was a calling." He glances back. Micah's eyes glisten, steadying him. "I cannot replace his mother," Benedict continues, voice softening. "But I can honor her. I can keep the promise I made, that he would not be alone. For years I built towers of steel and glass, believing they were my legacy. They were hollow. This boy's laughter fills my home in a way no building ever has. He is not a charity case. He is my son." The courtroom holds its breath. Even the judge leans forward, measuring the weight of sincerity. But outside those walls, Lila's health falters. In the hospital, machines struggle to keep pace with her lungs. Micah visits between hearings, pressing his small hand to her cheek, humming the lullaby. One evening, her eyes open, tired but sharp. "Baby," she whispers, "do you feel safe with him?" Micah nods fiercely. "He listens when I sing. He doesn't make me small. He loves me, Mama." Tears slip down Lila's face. She looks at Benedict, who stands awkwardly at the foot of the bed, stripped of all grandeur. "Then I can let go," she breathes, "because I know he has you." Benedict's throat closes. "You'll always have a place with us. Always." She smiles faintly, a fragile peace settling over her. Sing for him, she tells Micah. Sing for both of us. That night, as snow whispers against the hospital window, Micah hums until sleep claims him in the chair by her bed. Benedict covers him with a blanket, standing watch as if guarding a sacred flame. Later, back at the penthouse, Benedict stares out at the city's frozen lights. For the first time in years, he prays not to wealth, not to reason, but to love itself. Don't let me fail him, he whispers into the glass. Don't let me fail her. And as if in answer, a breeze stirs through the sealed windows, carrying the faintest echo of Micah's lullaby. The day of the final hearing arrives beneath a sky the color of stone. The courtroom is crowded. Reporters, advocates, skeptics. Benedict sits at the front, his suit immaculate, yet his hands tremble on the table. He has faced hostile shareholders, congressional inquiries, global crises. None of it compares to the terror of possibly losing Micah. The judge reviews the case, her expression unreadable. Mr. Crane, you've spoken of legacy and love. But guardianship is not sentiment. It is responsibility. Why should this court believe you are fit to raise this child? Benedict rises slowly. His eyes find Micah, who sits with the social worker, small mitten clutched to his chest. Their gazes lock, and Benedict speaks as if to him alone. Because I already am, he says simply. I wake with his humming in my home. I burn toast trying to feed him. I stumble through piano keys so he won't play alone. I sit by his mother's bedside because I promised her he would not face this world abandoned. I am not asking for permission to become his father. I am asking for recognition of what love has already made true. Micah stands suddenly, his small voice cutting through the chamber. He's not lying. He keeps me safe. He listens. He makes the dark less scary. Please, let me stay. The room hushes. Reporters forget their pens. Even the judge's stern mask flickers. She clears her throat. We will take this under advisement. The gavel falls. The uncertainty is unbearable. That evening, Benedict returns to the hospital with Micah. Lila's condition has worsened. Her breaths rattle like broken glass. Micah presses the mitten into her hand, tears spilling. Mama, don't go. Please. She cups his face weakly. I'll always be with you, baby. In your song. In your heart. And when he holds you, know I am there too. Her gaze shifts to Benedict, fierce even in frailty. Take care of him. With more than money. With everything you are. I swear it. Benedict whispers, voice breaking. Lila exhales one last time, a faint smile on her lips, as though carried away by the very lullaby she taught. The monitor flatlines. Micah's cry shatters the room, raw and small. Benedict gathers him, holding the boy as if his arms could keep the world from collapsing. Later, in the hospital chapel, lit only by candles, Micah sits beside Benedict, silent and broken. Then, softly, he begins to hum. The melody wavers, then strengthens, filling the vaulted space. Benedict, eyes wet, joins him, their voices blending, one deep and unsteady, the other fragile but unyielding. And then a subtle shift. The flames of the candles bend toward them, steady and bright. The draft that has no source carries their song upward, as if the world itself is listening. Benedict clasps Micah tighter. Your mama hears you, he whispers. And so do I. The boy leans against him, humming through tears. In that moment, grief does not vanish, but it transforms into bond, into faith, into something unbreakable. The next morning, Benedict looks out over the city. For the first time in years, the skyline doesn't feel like a monument to his solitude. Feels like a beginning. Weeks pass. Winter loosens, though the air still bites. The custody decision lingers like a storm cloud. But within the penthouse, life grows in small, luminous ways. Micah sketches music notes on scraps of paper, taping them to the refrigerator with childish pride. Benedict learns to brew cocoa properly, even adding marshmallows, because Micah insists they are necessary. Laughter echoes in halls that once knew only silence. Each moment is fragile, yet real. Then the final hearing arrives. The courthouse feels heavier than ever. Reporters line the steps. Inside, the judge sits grave, her robe a dark tide. "Mr. Crane," she begins. "The question before this court is not whether you have wealth or influence. It is whether you have shown the qualities of a father." Benedict stands. His voice, though quiet, carries through the chamber. "I used to believe legacy was measured in buildings and markets. But I was wrong. Legacy is measured in love. In the nights you sit beside a frightened child. In the mornings you burn toast trying to make him smile. In the promises you keep when no one is watching. That is what makes a father." He turns to Micah, eyes raw. "I may not have been there when he was born, but I will be there for every day of his life to come." The courtroom stills. Micah rises, clutching the mitten, and speaks with a child's simple courage. "He already is my dad. Please, don't take him away." Silence stretches. Then, with a single stroke of the gavel, the judge's voice softens. "This court recognizes Mr. Benedict Crane as the legal guardian of Micah Rivers." Micah gasps. Tears streak his face as he rushes into Benedict's arms. The boy sobs against his chest, whispering, "We did it, Dad. We did it." Benedict holds him tightly, eyes wet, his voice a broken prayer. "No, son. You did it. You found me. You saved me." Applause breaks out from the gallery. Reporters scribble furiously, but none of their words can capture the miracle unfolding. That evening, back at the penthouse, the piano room glows with lamplight. Micah sits at the bench, Benedict beside him. Together they play not perfectly but with joy. Micah begins to sing the storm song, no longer a plea but a hymn of belonging. Benedict joins, his deep voice weaving into the melody. The chandelier flickers once, then steadies, casting the room in warm gold. A breeze stirs though the windows remain sealed, carrying their song upward. It feels as though Lila herself is listening, smiling. For the first time, the penthouse is not a monument of wealth but a home of love. Micah leans against Benedict's side mid-song, whispering between notes, "See? Miracles are real." Benedict kisses his curls, smiling through tears. "And you are mine." Spring unfurls across the city. The air carries the scent of thawed earth, and sunlight pierces even the tallest glass towers. For the first time in years, Benedict Crane's penthouse is not silent. It thrums with life. Micah runs barefoot down the hallway, laughter bouncing off marble once cold as a mausoleum. The refrigerator is covered with his paper staff lines, clumsy but proud. The guest room is no longer pristine. It's messy with blankets, sneakers, and a pillow that holds the shape of a child's dreams. One evening, Benedict hosts a gathering in the great room, not of investors, but of children from shelters and foster homes. The Vale Foundation's latest initiative is no gala, but a celebration of voices often unheard. The piano rings with songs, the air smells of cocoa and cookies, and balloons bob beneath the chandelier. Micah moves among the children with a natural ease, teaching them fragments of his lullaby. A journalist lingers near Benedict. "You've changed everything about your foundation." "Why?" Benedict's eyes find Micah across the room, his small frame glowing in laughter and song. "Because I finally understood," he answers softly. "Legacy isn't steel or fortune. It's love. And love, when given, multiplies." Later, when the children have gone, Benedict and Micah sit at the piano once more. The mitten rests atop the lid, its presence both memory and promise. "Play with me, Dad," Micah says. Benedict smiles, placing his fingers on the keys. Their uneven duet fills the night, imperfect but alive. Micah sings the storm song, his voice clear and sure, carrying through the glass walls into the city beyond. No longer a cry for survival, it is a hymn of belonging. Benedict joins in, his deep voice weaving with the boys. Together, they sing for Lila, for themselves, for every lonely soul listening in silence. The chandelier glows as if lit from within. A soft breeze whispers through the sealed windows, carrying their song upward, toward a sky that feels less like stone and more like hope. Micah leans against him mid-note, whispering with quiet conviction, "We're the luckiest family in the world." Benedict kisses the top of his head, eyes wet. "Yes, son. And that was only the beginning." In the end, it wasn't fortune or power that brought life back to a lonely man's heart, but the fragile trust of a child who sang through storms. On a cold morning, wrapped in yesterday's newspaper, a boy was found. Yet in truth, it was the billionaire who was rescued, pulled from silence, from emptiness, from the weight of a hollow legacy. Love, truth, and faith became their wealth. And together they proved that the greatest inheritance we can give is not money or monuments, but the miracle of belonging. For when we choose to love, even the coldest morning can turn into the dawn of a new life.